football. I like college basketball. But baseball was all that I and many people my age cared about when I was a kid, especially growing up in New York, even though I didn't root for any New York teams. And the Hall of Fame in baseball meant so much. I know in Northeast Ohio, the Pro Football Hall of Fame is very important. But if you grew up where I did, nobody cared about the Football Hall of Fame. Certainly nobody, I don't think anybody cares about the Basketball Hall of Fame. I can't even figure out who belongs and who doesn't because it's not just the NBA. But the Baseball Hall of Fame is special. If you've ever been to Cooperstown, New York, if you're a baseball fan, you understand what that town and that Hall of Fame means. But it's been ruined. Because now we have all these great players that don't go in. And I get it. I get a lot of people saying, well, it's their fault. They used the steroids and they cheated. And you're right. I don't have sympathy for them personally, but I have sympathy for me as a baseball fan and all the other baseball fans out there. And what really bothers me is the people that are not voting them in, they all benefited. They all made money as baseball writers on the backs of these guys telling their stories. When these guys were all using steroids and hitting 1 million home runs, and when Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire saved baseball by bringing it back from the awful strike, or was it strike or lockout? Strike. And they brought it back, and then Barry Bonds took it another level. Okay, some of these guys are not likable. Clemens and Bonds are not the most likable guys. Okay, you can have higher standards for guys that took steroids. I get it. But in the end, the Hall of Fame is a museum. It tells the story of baseball. And you can't tell the story of baseball without Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens and A-Rod, no matter how despicable they all may be. That continues. Sosa, McGwire, Palmeiro, and more. And first of all, we don't even know who is taking steroids and who's not. So now, in a lot of these cases, we're not even sure. Mike Piazza didn't get into the Hall of Fame initially. He did eventually because guys suspected he did steroids. So now we're going to vote against guys who are suspected of using steroids. And once again, the writers, at the time, nobody was writing or saying anything about it. But all of a sudden now, they're all up on their high horse. Let's get rid of these older baseball writers. They don't know what the hell they're doing. And let's start voting these. I mean, for some of them, it's too late. The time has passed. But I think these guys should be in the Hall of Fame. As you know, again, higher standards. But I think all these steroid guys should be in the Hall of Fame.
I have a real question about that real quick. And that is, these sports writers spend their whole careers, and there's this power dynamic, and they are beneath the players.
Yeah.
Do you think some of them are higher in their own supply and like lording that over them?
I absolutely think
finally
there's
switched
no
around.
doubt.
So now they're like, maybe I don't feel like putting you in the
Look
Hall
at Jim
of
Rice. Look at Jim Rice.
Yep.
Eddie Murray. A lot of guys didn't vote for him.
I'm with you. I co-sign everything you said. And you said that the writers weren't talking about it. They were in their circles.
Right. Not publicly.
They're journalists.
Yes.
They knew what was going on.
And they did nothing.
Believe your eyes.
Yes.
They knew what was going on, and they weren't writing about it.
That's
and
right.
They were derelict from their duties
Absolutely.
as well.